Well, it's just about 2 o'clock, so I think we should get started. Hopefully, you all enjoyed a sandwich and don't fall asleep while I'm talking. So we'll try and keep this exciting and interesting. Thanks for being here for the afternoon. Quickly, my thanks to Calvin and Debbie for, as always, an incredible event. Appreciate you guys. We're going to spend the next half hour, 35 minutes, talking about Mcity, quickly past, quickly present, and then your thoughts on future. As you know, we started as a public-private partnership now more than 10 years ago. Greg Stevens in our office coined this term, the mobility makerspace, which I love. But Mcity, started as this joint effort between industry, academia, and government to look at transportation technologies and try and accelerate them out to society in ways that benefit us all. And we've done a lot of that well for 10 years. But recall, of course, 10 years ago that AVs were 2 years away. Connected vehicles were nationwide deployment already. Obviously, that time scale hasn't proved out, but yet we're still on that march. And so, Mcity has played a key role there. One of the three things that we do is testing, supporting testing and deployment in our and development in our makerspace. And so, at the beginning, a lot of the member companies that make up our membership were heavily invested in, Mcity, the physical place. And then over the last decade, really by design, those companies have adopted the capabilities of what we built in 2013, 14, and into their own facilities. And so we'll talk about that a little bit, but nowadays we see intense use by startups and other smaller companies as they're developing and trying to get moving quickly. Here's the test facility. This is the thing everybody thinks about when they think about Mcity. I was hired as the lab director 10 years ago almost. And this is about 30 acres on U of M's North Campus. It was really the world's first purpose-built proving ground for the technology that moves vehicles around on its own. So the connectivity and the automation that's necessary. So it represents less a proving ground and more of a real-world environment, but in an isolated place where you can test things carefully. Here's an original concept from 2013. Let's see. Connected vehicle, wide variety of repositionable obstacles. Yeah, some of that has survived 10 years. Some of it has been taken away by windstorms and other things, and we've put back new things. And so, the facility started as a set of physical things. And when I got there, it was really a question of how to start layering the digital world on top. And I know some of you in the audience have helped me do that. And I'm very grateful for you and your support over the last decade. Mcity 1.0, we'll call it, really, I think, was that period where we started to put digital systems in place on top. You could control the traffic lights. We built this thing called Mcity OS that lets you interact with, all of the physical world. But still slow. The time it took to set up that child proxy that's crossing the street and get it to work correctly every time it's hard. It's hard to do. So along came Henry Liu, and he had a couple of projects with us, and then became our director. And the first thing he said to me was, we need to figure out how to make this test bed available on the internet. And I thought that was crazy and awesome. So we wrote a proposal and pitched the National Science Foundation, and they thought it was crazy and awesome. And so here we are now, almost 5 years later, with Mcity 2.0 having run for several years. And that is taking Mcity and making it remotely accessible through free tools, through digital simulation, even a digital twin, so that you can actually control the physical facility inside of the simulation environment. It's a closed loop. Really all to help folks from across the country, whether you're in academia, you're a startup. We've worked with big companies that rhyme with NVIDIA, that to help them accelerate their time to market. And this has been quite successful, this remote accessible digital infrastructure. If you get a chance to come to one of those demo days, you really should. It's incredible. Along the way, we developed some things like the AV Safety Assessment Program, testing autonomous vehicles, and especially those that are controlled with AI techniques, which are quite complicated to test and not easy to reason about. And so here's a early version of the digital twin running a simulation in, this is AutoWare, an open source stack. And then down at the bottom, some early mixed reality work where the vehicle is being fooled into thinking that there's a lot more going on in the Mcity track than is really happening. To give you an example of Mcity 2.0, this is the University of Buffalo. They have several different labs on their campus in New York where they can actually virtually drop into the physical test facility and the digital twin of the test facility and interact with us and with other researchers live in real time. And so this is a screen capture, so the frame rate is a little bad. I'm sorry, it's Zoom, but you see a guy in the top left who's actually operating in the simulated environment. And then in the center left, our autonomous vehicle is actually perceiving him crossing the street and stopping, hopefully. So, that's a pretty complicated test. It's like 3 different simulators in 3 different locations, all synchronized and talking to each other in a real world and mixed reality environment. And so, being able to do that really let us move much faster in the development of systems like autonomous vehicles. But now we're at a place where it's not just about cars with wheels, but it's really the physical AI in the world. And Greg and Henry have drilled into my head in the last year or two about what's coming is really AI moving out of data centers. Thankfully, hopefully we will get some relief here on campus for our data center issues, but and out into the real world. And so what we wanted to talk about now today is the next generation of Mcity. We're not going to say 3.0. Henry tells me 3.0 is never funded, so we're not saying 3.0, but the next generation of Mcity. And really, if we're thinking about a test bed for physical AI, air, land, sure, sea, we have some Great Lakes around us that are pretty great, even submersibles and underground. If robots are coming out and running, these AI systems and interacting with us live, what do we need for those systems to be safe and successful and scalable and ultimately help us in society? So I'd like to spend a few minutes asking you questions, and you're welcome to, there's a microphone up here. If you want to raise your hand and we'll pass it around, I think Henry's happy to do that. I've got some Menti questions if you've ever used this before. That'll help us answer some of the questions. Mcity Next Gen, a what for what? So you should be able to scan this QR code. I think I made it big enough. And you should be able to get to a welcome screen. And we'll have Calvin, wherever he is, switch over. Or I'll do it. Calvin, I'm pressing buttons. I think I did it. Okay. Okay. So I already said that part. Let's start with an easy one. What best describes your current background? And if you didn't get that QR code, you can just go to menti.com and punch that number in at the top. And we'll give it just a minute. You're allowed to choose more than one thing. You don't have to be boxed in. All right, I'm rooting for entrepreneur. All right, other role. Clearly, I did a bad job of thinking about all the categories here. You can tell me later. Okay. Great, thank you. All right, we got a good sample then. I like the broadness here. And I didn't yet introduce, but Dr. Liu and Dr. Mao are my co-conspirators on this. Henry's vision and Morley's vision, helping us think about, the AI-ready testbed or the physical testbed, AI testbed of the future. All right, I think I can just go forward. Okay, assuming you do, what type of mobility or AI systems do you primarily work on? And if you don't work on AI or mobility systems, why are you at this conference? No, I'm just kidding. If anything that you are aware of, in your place of employment that's being worked on or anything like that, you can answer as freely as you'd like. And you can be as specific as you feel like, because we're really interested in the breadth here. Ooh, insurance claims. Okay, excellent. All right, I'm going to set the AI loose on this, I think. Data centers thinking about it. All right. Let's go back to this one. I'm going to see if I scroll. Here we go. All right, traffic signal actuation, autonomous tech, AV security, policy on CAV, excellent. Cycling safety, okay. Thank you, whoever that is. I ride to work every day on a bike, appreciate that. Okay. Major barriers, curious broadly. Money, I expect to be the first barrier. That makes sense, but you're welcome to say it. But what are the major barriers to your research, wherever you are? Yep, thank you. Oh, risk aversion, I like that. One of the ways that we've been thinking about the mobility makerspace at Mcity as a place to de-risk, to help companies understand the risks and understand the shortcomings or capabilities before scale. Okay, I think about 80 of you have put funding in. I appreciate that. Did Saval, is she in the building? No, okay. All right. We'll get her back and send her a copy of this. Government support, okay. All right, whoever wrote flexible physical test bed, good. Want to hear more about that? Some of this is going to end up being a kind of follow-up opportunity, I think, after this, for you to tell us what should we be doing. All right, let's get a little more specific. If you are working in AI or the development of autonomous systems, or in general, how do you validate if it's relevant? All right, I'm excited to see simulation getting a lot. Really, I mean, it seems clear to me, and I'm slow on the uptake sometimes, but it seems clear that simulation is the present and future. And I will say, when we first built the first Mcity digital twin, Greg, it took us about 2 years of painstaking work, which included Ford. Ford has an open source office, believe it or not. Ford approving the open sourcing of some of their early work. Thank you, Ford. But surprisingly, the lawyers agreeing to that actually wasn't the slowest part. The slowest part was all of the hand curation and building of the 3D environment. Even though we had scans and everything, we still have artists doing work. Fast forward to today, at NVIDIA GTC, our engineering team and research team just demonstrated using NVIDIA's new rec with a 5-minute drive of the test facility to create a photorealistic digital twin. So, you can see that capability is Moore's law or better. All right, real world testing and simulation are the winners. Controlled physical testing, all right, interesting. So if we think about what I just said, this test bed for physical AI, test bed for AI out in the world with us, what does that mean to you? This is a two-parter, and you can answer whichever part you want on here. We'll worry about it later. What capabilities should we prioritize in building one? All right, thank you to whoever wrote trust. Humanoid robots, drones, yep. Intelligence. Couple votes for safety. Real world situations. Okay, remote access. That wasn't a ringer answer from you, Greg, was it? No, okay. Safe place to do unsafe things. That sounds like Greg Stevens. Okay. Part 2, edge cases. Yep. Cybersecurity. Okay, if you want to elaborate on cybersecurity, feel free. That means a lot of things to, especially systems that are connected to each other and out working with us. Access for educators, yep. Okay, another cybersecurity vote. I'll give it a few more seconds. All roadway users. Okay, thank you. Now you get to vote. So I don't actually know what it looks like on your screens, but I think it should give you back all the things you just put up there. And if you like something, you should be able to tap on it. Okay. Whoop, it scrolled, but safety, I saw that go by fast. Let's see what when it comes back to the top. Oh, really an extra one for safety. I'll scroll back to the top here. Okay, trust, real world situations, reliability, realism. Include all possible roadway users, interoperability. All right. So getting near the end of questions for you. One more here. There's a couple more. But what's one thing? It could be service-based. It could be, I'd love to have an engineer that helps me figure out my validation work I need to do. I'd love to have the ability to mock up, where I live quickly and be running, with all road users in hyper-realistic models. It could be detailed like that if you'd like, or it could just be simple. And it could be kind of around the periphery of Mcity and testing and building. Okay. Interoperability. If you feel like adding another answer, interoperability with would be helpful. GPU compute, me and you both. Henry, did you put GPU compute? No, okay. While you're typing, I would say about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5, as part of this reimagining of Mcity and Mcity 2.0, and Greg Stevens coming in as our research director, we really, leaned into open sourcing as much as we could, everything that we could, and that's going to continue to be our future, I can tell you. Not that we can't start companies and startups off the side of that. Good example, TerraSym. I think I've got a video of it later that a couple of our Henry and a great postdoc started. Is using that as its implementation, but the core is open. So our digital twin is open source. You can use it for commercial development, and I think that data access is a key thing there. Virtual ITS, okay. Sharing of test data. All right, I'm gonna go one more. We can vote on this if you'd like. Got about 3 minutes, and then I want the brain trust here to come up. And we'll talk. All right, I may cut you off here, I'm sorry. Let's see how you did. All right, interoperability, remote access, documentation, okay. GPUs, programmability. Thank you. All right, I think this is the last question. Let's say that I know Saval has mentioned. She really is a fan of the DARPA Grand Challenge and this kind of challenge environment. Let's say that we build this test bed, we build upon Mcity 2.0, and we have this next generation test bed for physical AI broadly. And we wanted to challenge students, startups, other teams that want to self-assemble in maybe in a DARPA style, or in a style that you can think of. And we wanted to host a challenge using the capabilities. What would that look like? Trip, if you say auto drive 2 or 3, I'm gonna be amused. Okay. All right, there we go. Thank you. Auto drive 3, appreciate that, Trip. Sim to real, okay. Integrating AI agents. I think, did anyone go to ClawCon at Chrysler? Okay, good work. Get an A+ for conference attendance this week, that's good. Yeah, we hosted the first ever ClawCon at Chrysler 2 days ago? Yesterday? Clearly I did not go. I wish, but next time. This is pretty exciting. An AI agent hackathon on the floor of Chrysler with the national championship banner overhead. That's right. That's right, Purdue. Where are you? Okay. I'm done now. All right. Extreme weather conditions, yes. I survived a tornado on Tuesday night, right? So we have that in Michigan. We can also simulate it. How about Robot Olympics, accuracy of obstacle identification, package delivery. Okay. Excellent. I'm going to scroll down here. All right, more for sim to real. I like it. All right. Thanks. Let me, first of all, I appreciate it very much. Let me bring Morley and Henry up to the stage just for a minute. I want to give you just a couple slides on what we're thinking about, but I didn't want to show you that until we had a chance to hear a little bit from you. And then if we've got 1 minute for questions, 2 minutes, 8 minutes, 3 hours. No, okay, 2 minutes.
So let me get started. Thank you, Greg, for introducing this project and next generation Mcity visioning. And this is an NSF-funded AI-ready testbed planning grant. Morley is the PI, Professor Morley Mao from computer science at the University of Michigan, and I'm co-PI with her. And one of the things we were thinking in terms of the AI-ready testbed in the next generation is to looking into enlarged urban testbed for physical AI. And so if you imagine in the future that various physical AI form factors serving human society, so robot could be an autonomous vehicle, could be a drone delivery for medical emergency, and could be a humanoid robot that serving disabled person, could be a robot delivery, on-the-ground robots, digital infrastructure. And once AI into the physical world, one of the things we have to be able to test is their safety and usability, and particularly the interaction of these robots with people. And so we can't really test this in the virtual world in just like a language model. But now, because of the physical AI, we really need to have a physical facility so that we can really test out these interactions, and particularly from the safety and use case perspective. So Mcity, hopefully, one of the directions we want to go is to become a physical and also mixed reality test environment just like environment we have developed for connected automated vehicle testing, and now because physical AI is much broader than just autonomous vehicle, we want to have the capability to test out all sorts of physical AI. And so that's one of the things we were thinking related with the future of Mcity directions. Do you have?
Yeah, Morley, I don't know if you want to say anything on cybersecurity.
Yeah, I just want to add to that. We all know safety is really an important aspect that a lot of people are interested in exploring. And I myself have done a lot of work in cybersecurity. And given the wide deployment of machine learning models, we all know there are potential adversarial-based attacks, right? So we don't really fully understand when these machine learning systems are deployed in real settings. What is we all seeing, LLM jailbreaking attacks. So these concerns are real, right? So how do we test it comprehensively in a mixed reality physical testbed is really hard to do without this kind of support. So I think this is a really important enabler for future research and new validation of the work we academia can conduct in this space.
Thank you. I wanted to give you a couple of quick things. For one, this is the current state of the digital twin. You can see we've come a long way in just a couple years, and that's a Gaussian splatting technology. I'm not going to let any panel opportunity go by without saying Gaussian splatting forever. But we can do extremely high fidelity simulations now in the digital twin, and this could be in the mixed reality. Second, earlier this year we launched MAir, literally, and we're using the test facility as an anchor on one end of a low altitude airspace corridor that we're attempting to stretch all the way to Detroit, to Michigan Central, and to ourselves, the University of Michigan's Innovation Center in downtown. And along the way, our friends and colleagues at U of M Dearborn. So we're working on the airspace. The digital twin quality is quite high. We're thinking about physical AI. Welcome in the negative 60 seconds we have left. If you've got thoughts, I think there's Calvin standing by with a microphone. What are we missing? What should we be considering? Anything that I didn't ask in the questions earlier can be interactive, can be more of a comment. Up to you.
One of the things I want to mention too, go ahead. I think it's important to hear from you rather than me.
Y Combinator type thing.
Where you could have students, that are in entrepreneurship or, from across discipline, the whole university. I mean, you've got the whole university to pull from. And I think what would make this area more exciting isn't just that you have big companies putting in projects, but you're really pulling in small projects and new ideas and try to, let's try to make Michigan, like kind of like Stanford in a way, and just really push the entrepreneurship side of things, because there's a whole chain of other players, capital and investments and other things that the region really needs to sort of revitalize just the state of Michigan in terms of getting smaller companies going, smaller tech companies going. And you guys could be really right in the middle of it all.
So our dean's office really need to hear from you. I think this is really important. With all the AI development, there's a lot of the new ideas coming from the young students, and we need space, we need funding to support, not a whole lot of funding, but the space and funding and the equipment to really help these people to, develop their, the application of using AI, and I think it's the Y Combinator is what we're trying to strive us to do, and we last year Mcity and Amtree merged together, and then we have Mcity's current building, the trailer building. We want to become a Mcity Innovation Zone, and so that student teams and startups company can utilize that building for their development.
Yeah, I love that. I would say also, you know, CCAT doesn't have 9 schools by accident, right? It's not just University of Michigan. So that's the whole point of this remote test bed for Mcity, is that, you know, it's a national resource, and even for Ohio State, yeah. Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you all, and I will say, you know where to find these two, but also we'll make their emails available if you've got ideas and things you want to follow up on conversations. It's really helpful for us, so thanks a lot.